Well, hello, everyone. Welcome. With that, we will do a recall to order of a regular meeting. It is now 7:07, so please, Jackie, can you start with a roll call?
Amber Harness,
Here.
Andre Cole,
Here.
Steve Byers,
Here.
Ariel Owens, Christopher Boyes,
Here.
Stacy Ramirez,
Present.
Vante Bynum, Jenna Zimmerman.
All right, and with that, we will move on to public participation. Public, comment, members of the public who wish to speak to the board shall complete a request card prior to the start of the meeting. This section of the meeting will be reserved for comments from the public. All comments should be limited to 3 minutes. Criticism of individuals is not in order. So, because we have a large number of people, speaking during public, comment and also during our public hearing, we will be, asking that for public comment, we limit it to 2 minutes. We will have a clock up here because I don't wanna gavel anybody, so we ask that you please keep it within the time frame. And then because we also have a large number for public hearing, we're gonna limit those to a minute and a half. So, and again, that's based on the, allocated time that we have for each of those sections. Okay, and so that we are able to hear everybody's perspective. So with that said, we move on to public comments. I do ask also, last week, we did receive a lot of comments regarding the side conversations from board, the mics, and are able to pick up everything. We have mics all over the room to try to help to provide clarity at home for the people listening at home. So if we could just minimize and kind of be respectful of the people speaking, that would be greatly appreciated. So with that said, we will move on to with the public hearing comments. I apologize, with public comments. And we will start with Heather Hinton.
My name is Heather Hinton. The district is the second largest employer in the city. You are my employer. If you are proposing a levy this year that limits the ability to benefit from industrial growth and limits what the district is entitled to, how's that being responsible to me and all other employees? Tax breaks are great. We are getting that. Raises are also great, and I want to see teachers, paraprofessionals, and other support staff continue to earn a better wage. Why would you vote against that? How can you look at this audience, who is truly representative of who you serve, and make such an irrational decision? Explain to me, why is the board telling the district to do something that takes available money away from our kids? Explain to me why you don't want the best for our schools. I fully support the tax levy recommendation in front of you tonight and expect the board to remember its responsibility to me and my children. I do support the district's tax levy recommendation. Thank you.
Next up, James Krupp. Oh, the microphone. Don't turn on the mic. Turn on the mic.
Hello.
Hello.
Families in this community have struggled to make ends meet as they've been hit with double-digit inflation. This has caused many to make sacrifices and difficult budget decisions. For many, the only good financial news has been an increase in the value of their homes. However, we can't spend that. It doesn't give us more income. Now the administration of District 428 is coming along and proposing to increase the amount of money they collect from us in real estate taxes from $62 million to $76 million. The district does not have a revenue problem, it has a spending problem. I find it particularly offensive that our superintendent has used district resources, namely the district's technology platform and email list of parents, to lobby for this tax increase. The 2 communications that parents received about this matter the last few weeks are 2 more than we've received about pressing issues like frequent disruptions at school caused by a lack of effective discipline, or the rampant vaping that is allowed in the bathrooms at the high school. But when it comes to getting more of our money, the district administration is all over that. They try to distract us by telling us that they will lower our tax rate while they attempt to reach into our pockets and grab over 20% more money than they did this past year. I actually don't begrudge, though, the district staff and administration for wanting more money. Every bureaucratic agency wants more money. This is where we need a strong and independent school board to put the brakes on this. I would just like the administration to be honest with us. Tell us that the $62 million we gave you this past year isn't enough because you don't want to make difficult budget decisions like the families in this community have to make on a daily basis.
All right, thank you. Next person, Pete Vanderfleek.
Good evening. My name's Pete Vanderbleek. My wife and I are transplants to DeKalb over 25 years. I came to the last meeting of this body just to listen so I could make up my own mind. My wife and I refuse to rely on social media for our news, so attending the meeting seemed like the best source of the most accurate information on the topic of the proposed tax levy, and I wasn't disappointed. During that meeting, I was blown away by the civic engagement, preparedness, and passion of my fellow community members. All in all, I think this has been a great exercise in good old-fashioned civics. As one citizen reminded our board last time, the board's oath is to the taxpayer. You are our protectors. The employees you hire, from the superintendent and the director of business and finance on down to the hundreds of others who are employed by D428, take no such oath. There's an inherent conflict of interest at every school board table. As employees, they are here to do a job, but they also represent themselves. There's nothing unusual or unethical about that. But this system works only if our board remembers that our interests and the interests of our district employees do not always align. And what does remembering that look like? To me, it means asking hard questions, being willing to send district admin back to the drawing board when you think something can be done better or should be done or shouldn't be done at all. It means saying no sometimes when something would be really cool but would cost too much. It means pointing out to the administration that when my house goes up in value, I don't actually profit at that point in time. It's like make-believe value. And it means asking the community to weigh in on long-term commitments and expenditures, even if some law says you don't technically have to if it's structured in a certain way. Something covered by Mr. Doka and the attorneys in the last meeting was the PTEL, the Property Tax Extension Limitation Law. In a nutshell, the law limits the increase over the previous year that the board can levy. Thank you.
Next person, Cesaria Sykes. Cesaria, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cesaria Sykes, and I grew up with the D248 family my whole life, from Brookston Elementary and Clinton for junior high. I am a recent graduate of DeKalb High, and that would not have been possible without my counselor. She helped me in the best ways that she could. She would schedule one-on-one meetings for me. She would talk about my grades every other week. She would encourage me to succeed because that meant I was one step closer to graduating. She would get excited when I was passing classes, and I would like to thank all that to her. If the school district taxes were cut, what would happen to the children that would be in my shoes down the line in 10 to 15 years? What resources would they receive? If the recommendation put before me tonight regarding the tax pay levy is shot down, you are telling me that big businesses are more important than the children. Keep the children harmless.
Next person, Donald Williams.
I would prefer that we don't have cabinet members clapping in regards to what's being spoken. Thank you.
Donald Williams,
Yes.
thank you.
Can I stand over here? I speak loud enough for everybody here.
We need you at the microphone, please.
The people over here at home.
People, oh, at
At
home?
home,
Oh,
yeah.
That's fine. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
The cities seem overly involved in this tax process. Why? Are all the board members truly representing the best interests of the district and being good stewards of the resources provided by taxpayers? One board member rents business property from the mayor and also have received city funds to assist in that business. This seems like a conflict of interest that's being covered up by a lot of unnecessary noise to confuse the truth. Are you representing the best interests of the district or what the mayor has decided to use in his campaign for state office? I question if you are all on the right board. If you want to do the city's bidding, then you should run for city council. If you want to do right by the school district, then it's clear what your vote should be.
Next up, Christy Croft.
Copy of your oath that you all took when you decided to make these boards run for election. My name is Christy Krupp. I'm a mom of students past who've gone through District 428 and currently in District 428. I'm a small business owner. I don't know that I see too many big business owners here, and I know a lot of people here. But when you talk about big business versus children's interests, you've got to understand, you have a lot of small business owners and residents who just are here to make sure that they can continue to provide for the community, pay their taxes, also provide for things like freezing for food, the DeKalb School Farm Food Bank, St. Vincent de Paul, Love Inc., which all of those particular needs have gone significantly up, especially in this historical time of inflation. Gas prices are up, grocery prices are up. We are all having to make cuts at this time. I think some of what I've said the last time, I passed around, or I hope you share your oath. The group that you signed an oath to represent and respect, the only group, is not the administration of District 428. It's not the students, it's not the teachers union, it's the taxpayers. And that's because the taxpayers have the benefit of being invested in the community, having kids here for decades, and hoping that their kids and grandchildren stay here. That's your unique position as board members. We want you to say no to this tax levy. I also want to show you a tax bill from a property up in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. It's a property that, it's a bill that, for a year, tax bill, $4,000. It's a block away from Lake Geneva. It would sell here for approximately $340,000. Up there, you only can sell it for $650,000 to $700,000, and they are one block away from a lake.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next person, Ashley Palmer.
Good evening.
You can turn it off. It has to be green for it to be on.
Restart the timer, Sebastian.
Thank you. Good evening. Property assessments have gone up this year, and it's likely that residents will see some sort of increase, regardless of the decision that the district makes. The district has lowered its levy for the past 5 years and is planning to lower it again, this time by a substantial amount. Do we know what other taxing bodies are doing? Between the library and the city, it's been said that taxpayers will see $1.16 in savings. That's just $1.16. That's a very modest increase, especially if it results in a decrease in services. So what are other taxing bodies doing? Are they being asked to sacrifice millions of dollars in revenue? They don't have to calculate levies, in the same way as the district does. And it's not fair to compare their process to other taxing bodies. Are others being asked to give up millions of dollars in future revenues? Then why is the district being asked to make these concessions? I have a really hard time accepting that the school district should be the only one asked to do that at the expense of our children and all of the teachers and all other employees. So I support the recommendation provided by the district. Thank you.
Thank you. Ursula Sullivan?
Good evening. My husband and I are very concerned about the budget proposal from D428, namely the tax increase that is being requested. We moved to DeKalb in 2010 and settling close to the university as that was where I was going to work. We've enjoyed the proximity to the university and the centralized location. We have great neighbors and many of our friends live within a mile of our home. Our oldest son graduated from DeKalb High School, and we have another son who is currently a junior at DHS. While there have been some issues at the high school, many of you know what they are, we're generally pleased with the education both have received. With that said, we are not in favor of the tax increase by D428. We believe much of the request is due to the new elementary school that is being built and the board erroneously approving of the plans. We don't believe there was enough due diligence made, so the district skirted a referendum for the taxpayers to vote on and are now more than doubling the size of the current footprint of the school. All that investment should have been sent to the voters to decide if it would be a good use of funds. While D428 leaders insist that all of it is legal, it's really just a technicality because of the lease situation. The fact is that our agreement is a lease to own, which does entail capital expenditures and ongoing costs to maintain the extra large building. NIU will not be doing any of the maintenance of the building as a usual lease agreement might entail. The plans, including the larger building, the parking lots, plural, and the driveways are taking up almost an entire city block. Many of the neighbors in the area, including myself, do not see a need for the school when there's a perfectly good one about half a mile away from the proposed new school. In addition, all the discussion from the 428 administration claimed that the extra funds for the building would come from reserve funds. If the school was not being built, how much of that money would actually go to really needed necessary activities? Thank you.
Yeah. Next up, Jaharna Armstrong.
Hey Siri, call Sarah.
I can't seem to find. Calling Sarah Whiting Mobile.
Green. There.
Good evening. My name is Jahar Armstrong. I am a former student from District 428. Cutting the funding is not the answer. We already have a lot of issues as it is. Us as students, our opinions matter. We could lose a lot of good teachers who actually care about us. We could lose good programs that help us with our education. We won't be able to reach our full potential as who we want to be if the funding is cut. It is important that we have funding. It would be unfair and it will show that the system really don't care about us as students by putting politics before us. Is that what you want? Hold the children harmless.
Thank you. Next up, Jaden Thompson.
Hello, I am Jaden Thompson. I am a student that attends DeKalb High School. I feel as that you should hold the children harmless, hold accountability on funding instead of taking away from the teachers and students. I also feel as that the students should not have to lose privilege on talking to someone they find important to them. I feel like schools' taxes shouldn't be cut for for big corporations because as students, taxes should not interfere with the teachers because that could make the teacher or counselor want to quit and go to another district, and the students could lose a person they find valuable to them.
Next person, Dwayne Brown.
When a new business is considering locating in DeKalb, one of the first things they look at is the property tax rate. DeKalb has had a high rate for years, and funding the school district is a major factor. The city is trying to lower the rate to make us more competitive with other cities. When DeKalb lost its industrial base, the property tax burden had to be carried by the homeowners and the remaining businesses. This caused a stagnation of the local economy. New homes weren't being built, stores were closing, and residents were moving. Today, we have new development on the city's south side, generating new tax revenue and even more in the future. We need to lower our tax rates to attract even more development. The district has proposed a new tax rate levy of 5.52%. This is still 13% above last year. This is too high. The district will be receiving more revenue because of increased property values anyway and doesn't need that high a rate. I'm in the camp that DeKalb taxing bodies should take advantage of recent economic growth and lower the city's tax rate without hurting municipal budgets. The proposed corporate and special property tax rates represent a 13% increase over 2022. The estimated total property taxes for 2023 is too large an increase. The district doesn't need that big of an increase. They can earn $3.5 million on their $70 million reserve and will be receiving several $1 million from the state. DeKalb County has the third highest property tax rate in Illinois, behind only Winnebago and Lake County. DeKalb County has one of the highest property taxes in the United States.
Next person, Virginia Sherrod. I apologize, is Sherrod? I apologize. Virginia Sherrod.
Yes.
Thank you. I mispronounced your name, ma'am. I apologize.
It's okay. Same family. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I am here speaking in support of the tax levy. And the reason why, I'm a resident of DeKalb County, and I want to remind the school board members the oath of office that you took. You took that oath of office to be concerned about the tax levy and being the interest for the students and the school district. You took that office, you said you would respect the taxpayers' interest by serving a faithful project for the school district's assets, okay? And protect the school's assets. I worked in this district. I'm gonna go off from what I was supposed to say. I worked in this district for 7.5 years. I came from Sycamore School District, where I graduated from. And I took a pay cut as a classroom assistant. It is not fair to cheat the students. My daughter is a product of DeKalb School District. She was diagnosed with hearing hearing impaired at 3.5. Her first school was Tyler Elementary. She went all the way through high school, graduated class of '94, has been on her job for 23 years as a product of DeKalb School District. You keep cutting?
Next up, Ellen Rogers.
Well, I had no idea I'd get to speak. This is my first board meeting. But what I'd like to say is, there's a lot of families out here struggling. If you raise the taxes, that's gonna make the struggle even higher for them. And none of us wanna see our taxes go up, but I am concerned. In my house, we both work in education, just not for the DeKalb school system. But I think education is very important, but I think you need to think of a different way to get the money. Because you're out here, we just have a lot of families struggling just to make it. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, Jeff Halloran.
Good evening, everybody. I come before you as a taxpayer in the district, as a father of 2 children who went through the 428 system, and as a former member of the school board. As a former member, I know how challenging it is to the needs of the students to balance the needs of students with taxpayers that we took an oath to serve. The board I served with understood our responsibilities and chose not to raise taxes for 3 years. We did this because we knew that we needed to attract home buyers to DeKalb. Our property taxes here are very high. It is those homeowners that do not have children in the system that make our school district run. Taxpayers with children in the system, whether they rent or own, draw out more than they pay. We need to keep those taxpayers that do not have children in the system. We need to attract people to DeKalb. We knew that on our board, we knew that, and we still chose not to raise taxes, knowing that we were giving up millions of dollars. But we chose to work within our budget. We need to keep those taxpayers in the system after their children are grown and continue to help pay for the schools that they benefited from. If the taxpayers want to pay higher taxes to fund a new school, please, out of respect for those taxpayers, let them make the decision to do so. Present your case in a referendum and let them decide. Don't sneak this substantial increase through the side door.
Thank you. And with that, we will move to board correspondence. Any updates on anything or anything that everyone wants to share?
I can start.
Yeah.
Thank you. I visited two of our schools today. I visited Malta Elementary and was really cool. There's an awesome rock wall there, which I was impressed with, and some really hardworking teachers. And I also visited the high school, popped in unannounced, but luckily the high school principal was okay with that. And it was really great to see that. And I think I feel like there's a little bit of misunderstanding in some of what I've heard. And when we think about the $71 million that we would like that would hold taxpayers harmless, that's $9 million more than we had last year. That's a lot more money than we had last year. Just something to think about.
I'll go next first. Thank you everyone for sharing. I appreciate it. We had a student speak out yesterday at DHS, which if you're not familiar, it's an opportunity for students to share what they like about school, what's going well, and also give us important feedback. We didn't have any elementary or middle school kiddos, but we had some amazing high school students share some very insightful things around dress code, scheduling and school traffic, mental health, feedback on how students learn, and just thoughts on some additional rules and policies. So Jenna, our wonderful student board member, is not able to make it tonight, but she will be sharing in depth at a presentation in January.
Just for clarification before we move on, did we have people that put in requests to do public comment that were missed, Jackie?
No, they signed out to speak during the public hearing.
How did we know what we were signing up for? It didn't say on the card.
It's right here. It says-
I listed tax levy.
So did I.
So,
Okay, so in that case, they will get their 2 minutes though, and, okay.
They'll get whatever time.
Okay,
Whatever
but
time
they will
they
have a
allow.
time to speak, okay.
Thank you.
no, that was the.
Alright, that's all I wanted to clarify.
Right.
Any other updates from any other board members? And for me, this week, I attended a DCTA meeting, which was great. So I'm looking forward to some of the initiatives that are going on. So thank you for everybody and the service that you all provide to our students.
I guess I will also just quickly piggyback off of Steve, because I know a lot of you did address concerns with the budget was being cut. I wanna clarify, like, the budget, if we were to adopt the tax levy that the board talked about at the last meeting, the budget is not being cut. The budget still grows by $9 million next year. DCTA will still receive a raise. DFSA, when the time comes, we will negotiate that contract, like, we're not, and I would also like to remind,
I just want to remind everybody, we are not allowed to respond usually to the public like this, so unless I'm wrong, Steve.
I believe during board correspondence, I can correspond on whatever I want to with the rest of the board, if I'm not mistaken.
He's a citizen. It's really not so much a legal question as procedural.
Okay, okay, then go ahead.
You chair the meeting.
That's fine, go ahead.
Historically, I would like to say historically, we have never done that, so I don't think it's appropriate to make an exception this evening.
Just historical does not decide what is acceptable.
Right, agreed, things change.
And I provided my opinion on what I think is
Should change this board.
Oh my God.
Alright, that's out of order. Don't say that again.
Okay, I want us to come back to an order. Can we please correspond to whatever it is that we need to correspond in regards to our,
Yeah.
any updates or anything regarding our chairs or any committees that we are part of? So before we can definitely discuss if we need to, if we're gonna be doing that. No more updates? Okay, student correspondence, as Aria Owens stated, she was unable to be here due to other prior commitments, but she is looking forward to providing us with a presentation at the upcoming meeting with updates on the information that was shared with her based on the participants that came to the event. So we're looking forward to receiving that information. And thank you, Ari, for collaborating with her to get that going. Alright, the next item is the acceptance of gifts and donations. With that, that the Board of Education accepts gratitude donation of $500 from the Deborah Kyler from DeKalb District Music Department, and that the Board of Education accepts with gratitude the donations of $1,000 from Pipestone Farm to Malta Elementary for assisting with school needs. Thank you, we are greatly appreciative of that.
Thank you.
Now we will move to item 8 under public hearing on 2023 tax levy. Okay. And we will open it up with Mr. Armir Dorka, and then we will move on to the rest of the public hearing comments that we have.
Just for a new regulation, I just wanted to share that there is a cash fund balance presented at the board docs, and then continue.
Thank you. All right, so now we will move on to the next set of public hearing comments. Because again, of the number of people that are actually interested in sharing their opinion, we will also put them at 1.5 because we have more than the previous section. The first person that we have is...
I would motion that we as a board agree to give them the 2 minutes provided to the people that spoke before, because it is clear that the public was not aware of the difference of which one they were signing up for.
I'm okay with that.
Are we okay with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
And technically, we have it posted that they get 3 minutes.
No, really, we
So-
are actually, we do have 30 minutes actually allocated for public comment, and I would like for us to hear everybody, and I don't want to limit to everybody getting 3 minutes and then limiting the number of people
So
that
can
actually
we give them
speak.
2 minutes then, Daisy,
Yes,
since
we can
other
do
people
that.
got
Yes,
2 minutes?
we have consensus
Cool.
to do that, yeah,
Cool.
thank you. Okay, so we will start. The first person is Anna Wilheld. I apologize if I butchered your.
Hi, my name is Anna Wilhelmy. I'm also an attorney in DeKalb County. I just wanted to state that some folks are mistaken as far as the oath that the school board takes, and I know that you all repeated the school board oath when you went and you took this chair. So the oath is, I shall respect taxpayer interests by serving as a faithful protector of the school district's assets, okay? There's a lot more to that oath. You shall accept responsibility for your role in the equitable and quality education of every student in the school district. You shall assist in establishing a structure and environment designed to ensure all students have the opportunity to attain their maximum potential. You shall serve as education's key advocate, on behalf of students and our community's school to advance the vision of 428. To do all of those things, you need to have the appropriate funds. We had professionals that presented a recommendation of 5.904 as a tax levy. So I ask that you consider that. That is a professional opinion that was presented here to the school. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Steve Irving.
I was here last week, and I think it's a really misleading statement to say that the group that was here last week, and many of them are here tonight too, are asking for a decrease of funding and cutting programs. We know, and as Chris pointed out, the school district's looking at an additional $9 million in funding this year without a budget change. And that's what most of the people last week spoke about. The district administrators and the attorneys discussed their rationale for a huge tax increase. I am a taxpayer in DeKalb. I have been for 70-some years. I had one property that I owned that the property taxes went up over 35% in 1 year, which made that property that I owned an unprofitable piece of property. Our property taxes are huge here. You people are all residents of DeKalb, and you share in that issue. I don't know where your administrators live. I don't know if they have the pleasure of sharing with our property tax burden here, but it's enormous. This board last meeting had a consensus to adopt the existing proposal that was presented for 5.2, whatever the heck it was, which maintained the current budget with the additional $9 million of funding that is coming to this district as a windfall. I know our property taxes are currently awfully high. It doesn't affect me personally, I can afford it, but it affects most people in this community. And it affects attracting other people to this community. It stifles growth. We have seen so few of new homes built in this town in 10 years. I may match it with the clock there with maybe 5 houses. I hope I can leave this meeting trusting this board to stand behind the consensus decision at the last meeting.
Thank you. Next person, Sharon Gardner. Oh, Sharon, I apologize.
Hello, I'm Sharon Gardner. I've been part of this community for 22 years. I have kids that have already graduated and gone on from the district. I also have grandkids coming into the district. I have a preschooler, so I'm here to speak on behalf of that. Some people think the district is raising our taxes to pay for the new school or to pay administrative salaries. That's false. The funding to build a new school has already been approved by the board. Debt certificates were issued last month to fully cover the $33.8 million cost. It's already done, and no new money is being used. It's not costing the taxpayers anything to put in school in the neighborhood that should have had a school there years ago. A vibrant new school is a positive addition to our community, and that will serve students and families where they need it most. Kids live here, families live here, and they deserve to have a school there too. As for raises to the district employees, they go through a formal approval process with the board. It's their decision, so to suggest otherwise is untrue. Thank you.
Next, Bob Brown.
Good evening. My name is Bob Brown. My wife and I moved to DeKalb 5 years ago. We're both retirees. Like a previous speaker, mentioned, what happens to the retirees? Whose interest are the retirees looking out for? The school board. Obviously the children, obviously the educators, but the taxpayers. So your client in this hierarchy seems to be the people footing the bill. That's us. That's the retirees. The retirees have no children. We're not bleeding any of the resources off from the schools. All we're doing is paying our taxes. And for somebody to propose on an average home of $275,000 that the school district cost would go up $400 or so is ridiculous. Is that the same group that bought a $30 million nursing building? I think so. We're adamantly against this. Adamantly against this. Now, to another speaker who spoke about retirees, we have a development probably going into River Mist, the community that we live in, and it's a 55-plus community, probably. The developer is working with the town, with the city. But those 55-plus individuals who will be considering buying those homes will only consider them if there's a reasonable tax. If there's reasonable property taxes. If the property taxes seem to be exorbitant for them, they'll go someplace else. So consider that in the grand scheme of things, that you're not only impacting the students, who I believe we have to support, and the educators that we should support, but also us poor old taxpayers. Thank you.
Next up, James Krupp.
I'll pass.
Thank you. Next up, Tom Tarasinski.
Thank you. My name is Tom Tarasinski. I was a former school board member and a longtime member of your Finance Advisory Committee. There's some good news here that really should be shared so that both sides of this discussion understand that both parties are winners here this evening. Both parties are going to win with the adoption that the school board discussed at the last meeting. That is a 13.1% increase in property tax revenue. 13.1% is what was discussed and should be adopted. Now, why do I say both parties win? Your school district has a majority of the cost tied up in wages and benefits. About 75% of the total school operating budget are wages and benefits. Those are projected to go up with the new contract at 5% or 5.2% for the teachers. You're getting 13%, that leaves 8% over and above that requirement. With 13%, you should be saving money over and above your current operating balance, which is approaching 70 million. The other good news is, I looked at the financial forecast for the 5-year period that was adopted in March of this year. That 5-year forecast was based on an assumption that we would only have $25 million in new growth. we're going to have 183 million according to your own numbers.
Right.
Okay, so understand this. The adoption of your financial forecast, which includes the new school, includes the new teachers, includes the 5% raises, and make sure that you made a conscious decision at that time, which was appropriate, that you could fund it all with existing operating based on $25 million in new growth. Now you have 183 million.
Thank you.
That's 9 million is all.
Thank you.
Above what you have in your forecast. Let's stop here.
Ron Matikates, I apologize if I butchered your last name.
You should see the way my name was before.
I apologize.
Good evening. I am a resident of and taxpayer in District 428. Thank you for the opportunity to discuss the successes that we are here to discuss tonight. The increase in the property tax base as evidenced by the Ferrara development, Amazon, Meta, and of course Kraft Heinz. The seeds for that success didn't come overnight. They were actually planted 30 or more years ago when the city of DeKalb exercised in their foresight, invested in infrastructure, built new water towers, extended water mains. That partnership then continued in the interim with agreements with various taxing jurisdictions and TIP districts, which allowed again for the tax base to be grown and culminated with the location of those businesses most recently and the partnership again among those taxing jurisdictions representing the property tax abatements that in large measure ensured those businesses would locate here in 428. We know those businesses located here because of the unique advantages DeKalb has with transportation, utilities, a capable and skilled workforce that's backed up by the NIU and by Kishwaukee College that are able and committed to maintain and train future workers for those types of facilities. All that has happened with those cooperation of those different partners. There's another partner we're not speaking about when I mention that. That's the silent partner in all this, and that's the taxpayer. The taxpayer that's had to endure a reduction in services or a lack of services, all while paying a significantly high property tax rate. Well, it's time now for that partner, if you will, to also reap the benefits and be paid in a dividend back by this taxing jurisdiction in the form of a moderating property tax rate. Thank you.
Barb Larson.
I think a lot of numbers get thrown around, percents, and what goes up and what goes down, and part of it's levy, part of it's this. I'm very visual. 10 years ago, we might have had a Twinkie that we were dividing up between all the taxing bodies. And the way the growth has happened, we're like on a medium-sized wedding cake. And what we anticipate in 5 years down the road, we have one of those cakes that are taller than you are that we're all dividing. So even if we each take 10%, 10% of Twinkie is this, but by the time you get to that huge cake, 10% is a lot. So the rate doesn't have to go up, but your piece of cake is getting huge. And that's how the taxes work. It's, don't worry about numbers and rates. It's basically how big is the taxing body and how much percent. So you can keep the same percent and end up with $9 million more. But this group has another income, and that's through state and federal funds, and some of it makes it pay you because you're in a high tax rate school district. Well, doesn't that behoove you to keep the tax rates up? Because if not, you'll lose $5 million a year. So it's kind of like the fox guarding the hen house. The rest of the line items in the tax bill, they're stuck with property tax. That's it. That's what you get. But you guys have a secondary income. So it's not even the $9 million more that they're going to get. They'll get another $5 million on top of it, and another $5 million the next year if they keep our tax rates up. And that's why I have a hard time with transparency. I don't hear all the story. And that's what I'd like to hear and be more clear about. As where's all your money coming from, and more important, where is it going? Thank you.
Next person, Keith Vanderblake. Keith Vanderblake.
Thank you. The proper tax elimination law, PTEL in a nutshell, is a law that limits increases over the previous year that the board can levy. When Mr. Doka referred to leaving money on the table, AKA my kitchen table, he meant that levying a lower amount in one year would set that lower amount as the basis for the calculation of the allowable amount the next year. That makes sense mathematically. He said that the district would never recapture that money. He expressed concern that D428 should prepare for uncertainty. And I hope he can see that's exactly what all of us are trying to do out here right now in this conditions. And being taxed more than necessary really limits all of our ability to do that. Unlike a taxing body, I can't just levy someone. But there is one thing that the board should know in the event that the funds aren't there and PTEL takes effect. PTEL does allow the district to go over the limit set forth in the law through a referendum. But we've seen now how averse D428 has been to asking the community for input on such things in the past.
Next up, James Mason.
Good evening, Jim Mason. I've been in this town for 60 years and probably paid millions and millions of dollars of taxes, put a lot of people through this organization. It's wonderful. Done so many wonderful things. Transparency is where I'm going, and a couple other things. Transparency is that I think to really make the community get together with you folks is we have a 30-day newsletter of what is going on. These people don't know what's going on. I don't really know what's going on, and sometimes things happen here and it changes on the next meeting. So what I would like to do is, I'm Dara, executive in Dara, with a few other people in the room here. Dara would like to get together with you folks and work out a letter, a newsletter, and an audit letter so we know what's going on. Camelot School. I bought Camelot School to let you people use it, and you decided to spend $40 million up the street. I was gonna put you in there for $10 a square foot plus utilities, which would have saved $35 million. So you see, I think you need other people to talk to. Now, I know Northern needed the money, okay, so you gave some money for their school that nobody else was gonna use. But when you take a look at the enrollment here, it's pretty flat for the last 10 years. So we're talking about more money, more money, more money. Now we want to go down to Route 88, and you've got hundreds of millions of dollars that's going to be on the tax rolls over the next 5 to 10 years. You're going to have more money than any city in Illinois, and probably percentage-wise in the United States. So let's get this newsletter going. Let's get together so the community will know what you're doing. I appreciate the time.
Thank you. Next up, Christy Krupp.
Thank you. Nobody wants to sacrifice children's opportunities. That's not what's happening, and this is more a statement for the crowd, obviously. Hopefully, maybe for some board members, who, by the way, we appreciate. It's a thankless job that you do a lot of the time, but you are in a unique position to moderate between these conflicting parties. The administration gets paid through your budget. Taxpayers are a huge part of what makes up your budget here in DeKalb. You're getting more. This district is getting more. You're not gonna lose services. Raises are coming. I don't know where you get that impression that things are being cut back. They are not. But there's more in this next budget than we've had, and that's with tax increases from the past 5 years. We don't have 1,065 new students in this district. your district website states that we've had about 100 kids in the past 5 years of an increase in student population. We don't know where we're gonna be in another 5 years. I'm just saying, nobody wants the children to lose. Your taxpayers have children in the school. That is why the board should be listening to those taxpayers. Couple more points. Anyone notice that DeKalb needs new roads? We haven't gotten infrastructure or things that we have been paying thousands, some of us tens of thousands in real estate taxes for, that need to happen, that we deserve. The other thing is, Attorney Wilhelmi doesn't live in this district. She's an activist, okay? She works in this district, but I think that was a really crummy move.
Next up, Point Barnes.
My name is Colin Barnes. I'm the mayor of DeKalb. I want to clarify some stuff really quick, and hopefully we don't have any more personal attacks like I had on me. I wish the president of the board would have stopped the personal attack.
Right.
But ultimately, what I want to clarify for you all is no one at all is talking about cutting services. In fact, what the city has been doing and what many of the community have been doing is everything we can to increase the budgets of the school district. And that's exactly what this is about. We are in a time of unprecedented, historic economic development. What that means is more tax revenue coming in. It's important to understand that we are talking about, and it's the school board talking about, this isn't a personal champion thing of the mayor like I was accused of. The school board is talking about increasing the amount of money they have by $9 million. $9 million, that's incredible. Next year, it's gonna be even more than that because of all the economic development going on. And what we're trying to clarify, and that's where I hope the school board, you've heard a lot tonight, but maintain that clear head and that understanding of what's transpiring here. This is a win-win situation. We're asking the schools to do more with more. That is the goal. That is what we want at the city of DeKalb, to be able to provide more to our school districts and at the same time, provide to our taxpayer. Affordable housing has been an incredible topic and an important topic to me ever since I've been in office. Increasing the amount of money people pay in property taxes eliminates that conversation about affordable housing. What the school district, what I heard last time at the last school board meeting is that was a priority, that we want to hold the taxpayer harmless while getting $9 million more to our schools for more programs, more investment in our youth. And that's what we're trying to do. And if we can do that tonight, right, the city will bring in more economic development, which will be more revenue for the schools, and hopefully reduce liability to the taxpayer.
Next up, Dennis Collins.
Kind of tough to follow the mayor. Hi, my name is Dennis Collins. I'm here personally. I also am the president of the Kishwaukee Water Reclamation District, another taxing body. I've been on that board over 25 years. I don't fully understand all the tax stuff, and I've been at it for, as I said, over 25 years. It's a complicated issue. But at the end of the day, there's two issues. There's the issue of what is the school district getting, and how much more is it than they got the previous year, and how much for someone that has an assessed home, and it stays the same. We know they don't. Everybody's went up this year, but we have to start at a level ground. How much are they paying in taxes? What we want to do is, what is the school district's fair amount? We're talking about 13, I calculated it more closer to 14, but whatever the numbers, I don't have the exact. When's enough's enough? I mean, how much is enough? When are the children not getting what they deserve? When we're raising things 13 to 15%, and this will continue. I'm very informed about what's happening in the city of DeKalb and the south part. It's going up, as the mayor expressed. Guaranteed. I read in the paper where we don't know it's gonna be guaranteed. It's guaranteed, it's coming. For the next 2 or 3 years, it's gonna be bigger.
It's already written in stone. So at the end of the day, when is enough is enough? I would propose a 10% increase for the school board. How many in this room are gonna get a 13% increase next year? Nobody. There's not a person in here that's gonna get that. But yet, we're sitting here talking about, oh my gosh, things are gonna be cut, and they're getting 13% more. Big time, big money. You know, $9 million is big money at Menards. And you need to remember, I got 15 seconds, that we have two conflicting points of view here. We have our school board members that are representing the schools and the taxpayer, and we have the administration, which is representing the best of their ability. They do a good job.
Thank you.
But at the end, they want more money.
Chuck Shepherd. Chuck Shepherd.
I'll waive.
All right, next person, Dwayne Brown.
Hey, can you grab my glasses when you come back? I left them up there.
He was rushed.
Well, I get to finish my speech. Illinois is the second highest property tax in the nation, only behind New Jersey. DeKalb County has one of the highest property taxes in the United States. The average yearly property tax paid by DeKalb County residents amounts to 5.91% of their yearly income. DeKalb County is ranked 41st out of the 3,143 counties for property taxes as a percentage of median income, and 55th out of 3,143 counties in order of median property taxes. District number 428 and all the other taxing bodies need to lower their tax rates. This 5.52% is too high because they will be capturing more dollars from industrial growth and to make DeKalb a more competitive business environment. We need growth. We have the golden opportunity now to do that. We lower the tax rates and let the added growth, which would generate the necessary tax dollars, don't squander this golden opportunity with all this development on the south side. Now let's talk about money for a change. We know that you're going to get $9 million off this proposal, probably $3.5 million in interest off the $70 million reserve, and possibly up to $5 million from the state. That's $17.5 million. You don't need that much. We can lower this 5.52% even more, and the taxpayers will benefit, and you will generate in the long run from development. Thank you.
William Haynes.
Highness. German, remember?
German.
Practice your handwriting here.
I need to do. I went to DeKalb, I'm sorry. Figures don't lie, liars figure and manipulate. Trust has been lost with this school district administration. And here's the little dirty secret that nobody's talked about that I believe was posted in the black box. The dirty little secret is they want to temporarily abate this for only 1 year. That means in 2024, our rate goes back up. So the way I read it in the black box is the citizens, we do not want a temporary 1-year tax abatement discount through a relief grant. That's what the lawyers were babbling about at the last meeting forever, and everybody got confused. That is a dirty little secret, and we need that clarified tonight. This is way confusing, very complicated. Citizens support teachers and students. We do not support a disingenuous administration with hidden agendas. If the administration continues to disregard and manipulate citizen and school board input, I suggest an additional outside forensic audit of dollars spent and a comparison to other school districts of mandatory versus non-mandatory programs and students served. Citizens will rise up and stand up again as they did 8 to 10 years ago against oppressive, untrustworthy, and authoritarian city administration that we beat 8 to 10 years ago.
we will force changes in this school district administration. We ask the school board, as you are the judge, jury, and executioner, to carry out and support the citizens, support students in this district. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Carolyn Susada.
Hi, thank you. I'm Carolyn Zazada. I am a mother of 5 students in this district, currently enrolled in the schools, and I'm also the first ward alderman for the city of DeKalb. This is a very complicated issue that can be simplified, but you have to hear it from someone you trust because of the complexity. The 5.5% levy is a levy that will result in the school receiving $9 million more than the previous year. I heard the phrase cut funding. There's no proposal on the table that reduces or cuts funding at all. I'm a passionate advocate for our schools and for our children and my children. They come absolutely first before anything else. If we're to increase taxes, as the original proposal suggested, it would have increased taxes for an average family $1,000 a year, which if families can't afford to keep their homes or buy homes, it makes it really hard to give their children the solid home base that they need to thrive in school. Please hold the taxpayers harmless, because that also holds the children harmless.
Next up, Steve Captain. I'm trying.
Hi, my name is Steve Capitan. I'm a former alderman in the city of DeKalb. And I watched a number of speakers at the last meeting calling for a substantial reduction in the tax rate produced by the district levy. At the same time, they complained about the quality of our schools. But the district must be adequately funded to improve any deficiencies that they might cite. As a property taxpayer and a citizen who values providing a quality education for the children in our community, I ask you to seek what is needed for delivering that quality education while recognizing the heavy burden that the citizens of DeKalb face in property taxes and the heavy responsibility to educate our community. It's that balance that you must strike. I also would like you to clarify something that I think was referenced by a previous speaker. A couple of things in your agenda materials. It says the proposed published operating levy for 2023 of $81 million will be discounted through 2 tax relief grants totaling $12 million. Further, so are these tax relief grants that the district has in hand? Are they from the state of Illinois? Please expand on that when you discuss this. Thank you.
And next up, Jeff Hallgreen.
I'll pass. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, Mary Hess.
Hi, next year when my son graduates, I'll be a 19-year parent in the school district. Couldn't have asked for a better district for my kids to go through. We have embraced the diversity of the school district, and I believe my kids are better for that and for the people who have educated my children. In 2008, I advocated for a tax increase in this community. to get our new high school and a new elementary school. Because there was a clear need for that. We had tremendous overcrowding at our high school. The community embraced that. The steps we took were putting our trust into the referendum committee and asking the taxpayers if they would support this. They did. The following year, we had the Great Recession. The community continued to embrace what they were dedicated to. And I believe that we're better as a district for that. I also have the advantage of point on the supervisor of DeKalb Township. We have financial assistance programs. The number of working parents in this community that come to the township and ask for rental assistance, mortgage assistance, and utility assistance has increased quadruple since last year. People in this community are struggling. And if we have a tax increase, unfortunately, property owners are gonna have to pass that on to their tenants. And, you know, these are working parents that maybe work one job, two jobs, and what happens as a result of that? Then they don't get to spend as much quality time with their kids, and the kids suffer. So if we really wanna serve the children, we have to think about collectively as our community how we do that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, then with that, we would do the closing of public hearing for the adaptation of the levy and conformance to the requirements of the Truth in the Taxation Act. Thank you. Moving on, the consent agenda. This is an action item. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the consent agenda items B through G as attached. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Steve Byers.
Yes.
Ariel Owens. Yes. Christopher Boyce.
Yes.
Stacy Ramirez.
Yes.
Samantha Bynum.
Yes.
Amanda Harness.
Yes.
Andre Paul.
Yes.
Thank you. Now we move on to I apologize. Now we move on to old business, item A, which is an action item. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the full amount available to the district under the property tax relief grant for the fiscal year 24. This was submitted to us by Mr. Amir Dorka and the property tax relief. Before we move on to this, I would like to ask Amir if you could please provide clarification on the certificate. Yes, please.
On the certificate?
Mhm.
So, yes, the property tax relief, this is.
Can you move your laptop from the microphone?
Okay.
Okay. So the property, the one that we are approving currently is due to ISB by January 6th. At that time, currently we're eligible. We're number 21 out of 31 eligible districts. We will get this, we have gotten it in the past few years. This would be our round one of the second property tax relief grant. We are using this to allow us to have abatements.
Thank you. All right, again, this is.
Can I ask a question?
We're just approving to apply for it. We're not approving any numbers. The motion's just to apply for it, correct?
Yes.
Correct, yes.
Mhm.
This has been done so many
Yeah.
years, so as we approve it, it's from the state, and we've received all the eligible money, and we will receive it this year too, with very good certainty.
Thank you.
Right, but I just want to make it clear the way Daisy read it. She was saying approve all the monies. It's just, the motion is to approve for the district to apply for that.
To the request.
Correct.
Correct, so
Correct.
This grant allows you to take less. We are taking the full amount because it's not dollar to dollar. So we can abate, basically, if I can explain it, we are abating 6.488 million, but the state will only give us 6 million. The rest is coming from our budget, from our fund balance. So it's not a dollar to dollar. We'll abate more, but the district will give us about like 90%. And we're okay with that. We want to do that. So that's why when she read it, it has to read, we are going to abate the full amount of the grant eligible to us.
Thank you. All right, again, this is an action item. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve applying for the full amount available to the district under the Property Tax Relief Grant Program for fiscal year '24. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Ariel Owens,
Yes.
Christopher Boyce,
Yes.
Daisy Ramirez,
Yes.
Dante Bynum,
Yes.
Amanda Harness,
Yes.
Andre Paul,
Yes.
Steve Byers.
Yes.
All right, now moving on to item B, which is the adaptation of the tax levy. This is actually the item that I wanted to ask if you could please provide a little bit of clarification. I know that there was some confusion in regards to, obviously last time that we had our special board meeting, we had consensus from the board to actually, bring back a levy that represents a 5.5 abatement for everyone. There is, some confusion in regards to why it was, still presented as an $82 million, certificate. So can you please provide some clarification on that?
Yeah, this is a standard process. We've been, every time we've done abatements, what we present to the county is the amount allowed. And then later in January and February, March, we come to the board, we present our resolutions, abatement resolutions. And it's in late March, early April, when the all finalized assessments are at the county, and they will set the final tax rate. So that's why it has to be done after December.
So the final abatements those are guaranteed then?
Yeah.
To put us then at the rate of the 5.5?
Correct. Yes, we've always done it this way. This is the process. This is from the state, from the county. The abatements come after the submittal in the December submittal.
So I guess for clarification, because maybe I'm just not reading this right, but if we levy 81 million, and to get us to the 71 million we consented to at the last special meeting, would put us at $10 million abated. If we look at the slide that you gave us for operating budget scenarios from the last special meeting, under the 5.5201% category, taxes collected would be $71,232,424. Taxes abated category says it would be $21,011,402. So I guess I'm just extremely confused on how, when I look at the operating budget scenarios, there was not a single operating budget scenario that had $81 million listed. And yet, we as a board came to a consensus on an operating budget scenario that was listed on this list. And I'm not even gonna say which one we came to a consensus to. I'll just say on this list. And yet, the tax levy certificate that we are voting on tonight exists nowhere under this operating budget scenario. So I'm just interested how the administration and our lawyers, because my understanding is when we asked on Saturday, the lawyers are making a new recommendation, how you guys came up with a number that's nowhere on the slides that we came to a consensus on. I don't wanna hear from Steve. I'm
Okay,
asking
no,
our
I
financial
don't,
director.
yeah, so basically the tax rate is 5.52. We're gonna get that. We're getting the tax rate.
Can you pick up the microphone and speak into the microphone, please?
sure.
I'm having a hard time. Thank you.
I'm not sure what.
Oh, you turned it off.
You just need to pick it
Pick it
up
up.
here.
Okay.
Can you pick it up?
Pick it up.
All right.
Thank you.
So, I'm not sure what you're referring to, 21 million.
It's the slides that you gave us.
Okay. Yeah, the last column, that's the 71 million. That's the taxes.
And so I guess we came to a consensus as a board on this category right here.
Okay.
That's where I believe at that time, 5 out of the 6 of us present said yes. So I'm just confused on how we as a board, who give the administration directives and prerogatives, then we're given a number and a recommendation that quite literally is not even what we asked for. It is $5 million higher than the recommended rate you gave us on the 30th.
So I think you're dealing more on how the process is, on how we get into that. basically, we will be abating the 2 tax relief grants, and we are abating even further to get to a number of 71 million. So no, it's not 76, it's 71 million.
I guess what I'm asking for,
Yeah, these are procedure, normally, basically, we are gonna reach that tax rate, the consensus of tax rate is 5.5.
Amir, so if we were to start at if the certificate would start at the 72, then after the abatements, where would that put us at? What rate would that put us
It
at?
would put us at 5.1%, so that is it is not the consensus rate. It will hit us it will hit us permanently with under levy, and that
But
is not
with-
what is.
to clarify, with the under levy,
$9
we,
million more dollars, right?
Yeah.
No, based on the 5.5. That's
So
what you
the
say,
method
right?
we're prescribing right now will get us the 5.5, will get us the 9 million, and will get us to capture the new growth from industries.
but I guess the concern I'm having is if we do this $81 million levy, that's a 1-year deal. We come back to the table the same time next year and we have the exact same discussion on what do we do with the CPI increase? What do we do with XYZ? The problem is, okay, we saved the taxpayers this year. What's to stop the district from deciding, oh, we're not gonna do an under levy again? And then we now hit the taxpayers, not with an increase from, I think, the $62 million we collected last year. We jumped from 62 million to 81 million. They're not paying another $1,000 per home. They're paying another $2,000 per home based on that new increase. So I guess, and let me just finish real quickly. You're saying that your process gets us to the exact same place. So why, I guess, is the conversation that our way is robbing the district of resources if the dollar amount we're gonna have to spend on students is gonna be the exact same number based on both scenarios, unless you guys as an administration have plans to capture that extra $10 million next year.
Please, let our mayor speak.
So first to talk about the abatements. What the abatements do is allow us to capture the new growth. So as mentioned, we have an incredible growth industry in industry. We want to capture that. We want to capture that in the future. The way that PTEL works is that it doesn't allow us to get, if once they enter the tax rolls, the first year, that new growth, if you don't capture it, you will lose it permanently. We do not want to box ourselves into not capturing this new industrial growth, so.
And I totally understand where you're coming from. Like, I get you want to be a steward of the district and protect the district, and I'm not disagreeing with that at all. Because I think a lot of the people in the room that have spoken have given negative intent to you and to our administrators. And I want to make it clear, I think you guys fully have the best intent of our children, our district, and our community in mind. But we're getting, even if we hold things level this year, we're getting a $9 million increase. Based on the production that we know is going to happen from Meta having buildings come online next year, from Kraft Heinz getting more of their construction done, which will cause an increased assessment value on that property, we can expect not 9 million, but conservatively another 14 to 15 million dollars of just new growth that we will get to capture again next year.
It's the method we're describing.
Oh, you turn off your.
Sorry, the method that you're describing, that we are presenting to you, will capture that growth.
So I guess.
But not by, if we submitted 71 million, we are not capturing that growth. It permanently boxes us in with loss of capturing this.
So I guess I would liken this more to a Thanksgiving or a Christmas dinner. We bought 15 pumpkin pies because we didn't know how much Uncle Fred was gonna wanna eat. There's a whole extra pumpkin pie sitting on the table. I absolutely have a right to eat that entire pumpkin pie that's sitting on the table. That is my, based on our PTEL laws, based on whatever, I can take the pie that's on the table and eat all of it. However, when I eat that whole pumpkin pie, my cholesterol's about to go up. I'm gonna have health problems that come on later down the line. I don't need to eat the whole pie just because it's on the table. We have a duty to our students, absolutely, but we have a duty not to eat the whole pie and poison our taxpayers in the process.
So the method we're describing, we're providing, will get you the 5.52 as the consensus was. We'll capture the new growth, we'll keep the taxpayers protected from an increase of taxes.
My concern is not this year. I get we won't this year, but we're gonna have the same discussion in 2023. And quite frankly, I don't know that the district is going to want to be as generous in 2023. I feel that those of us who want the 5.52% before abatements want to make sure that we are holding this district accountable by holding us to a firm $71,232,424 levy.
Our method will get you the 71 million. That, I guess, let me just talk about the future years.
Everybody,
So in
please keep-
future years.
Our Mayor, can you please, I ask
Yeah.
everybody to please keep this our conversations. If we really do wanna hear the presentations. We heard everybody, we wanna make sure that everybody leaves with the appropriate information. And we also want people at home to also be able to listen. So we ask that everyone please listen to the responses and the questions being asked today. Thank you.
Yeah, to tackle what happens in the future, we're trying to capture that industrial growth in the future so that the burden doesn't shift away from the industries and go to property owners. This is what we're doing. That's why we're bringing this method. These companies already have tax incentives. We want to capture the taxes that they are bringing into the tax roll currently. They already have tax incentives. Even with those tax incentives, we're seeing them appealing, and we, the district, are paying to fight this back. So yes, in the future, I'm allowing you to capture this industry growth and benefit from the expansion of economic activity here.
And I'm not accusing you, I feel, of trying to not let us capture the growth. But the question is, in the pursuit of capturing that growth, how much are we hurting the existing taxpayers? And I guess what I'm gonna say is, I work in the banking industry. We're coming right up on Christmas. I have parents in my office almost every day bawling their eyes out in front of me because they have to tell me I have to decide whether to put food on my kids' plates or buy them Christmas gifts this year. And right now, yeah, we're gonna abate it this year. What do I tell them next year when I hit them with a $2,000 increase because we choose not to abate this? And we talk about how the property tax relief grant is a part of the abatements that we just have to do. Eventually, if we do our job as a board, we're gonna lower the taxes enough that we don't need to rely on the state to give us money to abate taxes. And what are we gonna do with the taxpayers at that point when the state quits giving us money to abate the taxes? Because we continually go on about ESSER funds have run out, this is running out, we need money. But when it comes to handouts that let us spend more money, there's never a conversation from the administration on what's the plan when these handouts run out.
Okay, so a couple of things. The tax rate, the method that we're just showing, will capture the new growth and will keep the taxpayers from an increase. Additionally, it allows us to continue providing these abatements. If we do what you're suggesting right now, it will stop us from getting any type of industry growth and will not allow us to give us revenue to do abatements in the
So
future.
I guess I'm gonna just ask the question, because you say it prevents us from getting any growth. So if we hold the tax rate harmless for taxpayers, where is the additional $9 million in revenue coming if we're not collecting this new growth?
Well, there's a couple of things. There's the EAV, the assessment that have gone up.
So there is new money from
growth.
the new growth that we
Correct.
collect even without bending the current taxpayers over.
He'll tell you if you let him talk.
So, again, the method that we're providing providing you will give you more tools for later. In the past 5 years, we provided tax rates lower. We have done this. So we will continue to do it, but you have to give us the tools. If what you're suggesting is cutting all growth out and under levying, we will not have the revenue to do.
How
we will
is an
not have
additional
resources.
$9 million a year not enough for you guys to do your job?
That's our method. Our method will get you the 9 million. The method you're proposing is not. You see what I'm
So
saying?
what was our levy last year?
Okay, so,
No, just,
you're
what
right.
was our levy last year?
After abatements was 60 million.
And we are going to have 71 million with this new abatement and this new levy at 71.232. That's, based on the number you just gave me, an $11 million increase from last year. How is an additional $11 million not enough to do our job?
I don't know what, sorry, can you repeat it?
So essentially, you're saying we're not giving you guys the resources to do your job. Levy last year to the levy we're talking about right now will be a substantial increase, even if we don't take all the new growth on the table. So I guess, do you just want a blank check to be able to just do whatever you want to do? Or when is it time for you guys to say, we need to tighten up our belt? There are programs that need to be cut, and I'm even gonna say it, based on where we're gonna go, programs aren't gonna be cut. This is just a matter of we don't get to add 15 new wings to the new elementary school and provide every service that J.B. Pritzker would like us to. And it's not our job to be the governor's token guy that's out there doing everything he wants us to do. A parent teacher resource room where parents get to go to learn more about education, that's not a mandate from the state. That's not something we need to have. And Ivana Quinette, if you have an opinion that you would like to share based on the faces you're making.
Are you calling me out in the open?
Yes,
Well,
I
open
am.
meeting? Order, please. Order, please. Order. I ask that we are respectful of everyone in the room, and if you're asking a question, please ask it directly to the appropriate person presenting.
He's so disrespectful.
How dare you?
Can I make a clarification? I think that there's a couple of things that are missing from the bigger picture of what it takes to fund the district. And there are funds that are currently not going to be presented to us any longer, such as ESSER and those kinds of funds. Because we are losing those funds from the state and federal side, we have to have that money to be made up in another place. So for instance, our ESSER money, and then we're also we have a raise in our transportation costs. We have additional funding that's gonna be required of us. We need to make sure that we have that funding coming from someplace. So the money isn't that it's going to be in abundance. We need $141 million to be able to run the district. So that money has to come from someplace, right? So whether it comes from the state and we can use that funding where we're getting it from, or that we're collecting it from where the new construction is coming, that'll support that. Our point is that we want to get to the 5.5 that you all consented to, right? We want our homeowners to feel like we are doing our best to support them. So it has nothing to do with that. What it has to do with is that in order for us to continue to be able to be supportive of our homeowners, we need to make sure that we're covering our costs in the right places. If we're already giving Meta and everybody else 55% discount, and over 20 years, we will see money. You're right, we're gonna see some money coming our way. In 20 years, we'll see really big money coming our way, but by then, none of us will be here. We have to take care of all of us, our students, our families, and everyone else right now. And in order for us to do that, we have to be partners and good stewards with the city.
When I was on the board, the superintendent didn't speak.
We're trying to be collaborative with the city. The city had asked us to help reduce the city tax to 9%. We've done that by going down to 5.5.
Daisy, why don't we just move to a vote? This is just gonna keep going in a circle.
I ask that we allow her to please finish her comment.
I just want to make sure, Amanda and everyone else, that we understand that this can happen for everybody if we can get to a point of consensus, which you've done. And you asked the administration to get us to that point. We are at that point. We're giving you exactly what you asked us for. Now, what I'm understanding is you're asking us to give up more. And I need to understand what that is, because we still have to cover our current costs and our growing costs. We have to pay our bills, and those bills are going up. Everything is getting more and more expensive. We have 3 more unions, we have all kinds of things. I'm sure you've heard it over and over again. I don't need to repeat myself. And I just feel that it's important to understand that this is only part of our funding, right? And so collectively, what we need to be able to do, what we need to do is needed. And to keep the homeowner held harmless year after year. I'd rather collect it from them than have to ask them, our homeowners, to give us the money, our taxpayers. So let them pay what they're supposed to pay for coming. Let us take that into consideration and let us hold our taxpayers harmless.
So to bring back the certificate that is presenting would get us to the 5.5, basically.
Correct.
Which is what we requested and what we had consensus to bring back to this meeting, so that the taxpayers are left harmless in this process. So this certificate that you have added here is what's gonna get us to a point where our taxpayers are left harmless, and we can say that on the table.
Yeah, I think we're bogging down on, the process, but this is the process. This is from the county, this is from the state. This is the certification that is submitted, and we will get you to the 5.52.
I think the big thing that I feel like is that this whole thing has been very confusing. I know I've definitely reached out to as many people to help me understand as I can. And I think our district has put out numbers that are unsure. Like when we approved the 71 million originally, we didn't know that abatements would need to be a part of this equation. We weren't informed of that. And now, I know me personally, it feels like with the abatement talk, we're really talking about double dipping, because the abatements we're getting federal funding for, but we're saying we also need to get levy taxes for, but those are actually coming out of federal, right? Because there's a federal grant that we're abating with.
The 71 million, the 71 million, it gets you that tax rate, the 5.5 that holds the taxpayers. I think we're bogging down too much.
That wasn't
on
my
the
question. The
process.
question is the abatements, when we say we're gonna abate this $12 million, that $12 million comes out of our federal or state income, revenues, right? So it shouldn't be coming out of our tax levy revenues.
It's a
coming
state
out of
grant.
both, kind
It's
of.
a state grant, yeah, it's a state grant.
Right,
Yeah.
so it seems to me like we're kind of double dipping, like we're using this as, it is a property tax relief grant. Its purpose is that we don't take as much in the tax levy, but we're saying, well, we have to raise the tax levy to cover that grant.
It's the allowable rate to get us to the 5.5. Now remember, we have a very prescribed by law, the PTEL law. So we would have been much higher than that. We were at 5.98 when I recommended it, but to get to 5.5, we are using those abatements. So, and this is a process that has been done every year. I mean, it is done in this district as well, so.
It's my
it's
first
not-
year, sorry.
Well, but it is in the records.
Well, I personally, at this point, would motion that the board approves the tax levy that is listed in this last column on the November 30th board presentation.
If we did that, what rate would that put us at?
It puts us at 5.1.
That's not what that is not
That is
what
not
we,
the consensus.
that is not
Well,
what we.
that is what I am motioning for.
But that is not what the consensus was at the last board. The consensus was to put we originally were recommended a 5.9. As a consensus, it was brought back for us to actually put into motion a 5.5. This is the certificate that would get us to 5.5. If we put an actual certificate for $72 million, that would put us at a 5.1, which would not put us at the consensus of what the board requested of the 5.5.
If the 5.1.
So if it was gonna put us at a 5.1, why wasn't it on the PowerPoint showing that? and not at a 5.52.
Okay, the request was to have taxpayers hold harmless. The 5.5 gets you there.
So did we put an option that wasn't an option?
Correct.
Yeah, correct.
Yep. Essentially, I feel that the concern we're having is you are playing with invisible money to hold the taxpayers harmless right now. Because if we as a board decide next year, oh, actually, we're not gonna abate that money anymore, the taxpayer is not held harmless anymore. They're gonna see a catastrophic increase in their taxes.
How many
Because-
years have we held the taxpayer harmless?
At least 3 years that I've been here.
At least the 3 years.
The
that
past
you've been
3
here?
years, we are the ones that actually lowered the city's, the aggregate tax rate of DeKalb. We are the ones,
Without being asked by anyone
without
else.
being asked.
You know, and Minerva just got done saying taking care of families. We're not taking care of families if they cannot feed their children and pay their bills. And right now at $9 million, that is a lot of money. So we really need to be thoughtful and think about this. You can't say in one breath, we're trying to do for our families, but then not try to do for our families in other ways. And that's what we talked about at the last meeting. So I mean, at this point, I mean, Chris asked for us to motion
Do we have a
and
second?
you kind of blew that off.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. We need a roll call, please, Jackie.
President, is he?
First of all,
You can-
that's not how that works.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is, the board.
Okay, please call for a
Can
roll
you,
call,
again,
Daisy.
Maria, can you please do a clarification? I would
We
like
have
to
a
know.
motion and a second. Steve.
I
I would
Does
like
that
to provide
require a roll call?
clarification and other board members, and give other board members the opportunity to actually ask questions.
I'm looking at the slide that you're referring to. It's very crystal clear. The rate is 5.52. The taxes are 71 million. I'm not understanding you.
I'm making myself very clear. I want us to levy at $71,232,424,000 before abatements.
The method shared will get you that.
I don't want your method. I've told you what the method I'm motioning.
Correct. And we agreed with the consensus on the 30th of November of what you provided, Amir, the last, all the way to the right, the 5.52 with the 71.2 million.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
At the last meeting, the PowerPoint slide you provided, all the way on the right, had 5.52 with 71.2 million. That's what we agreed as a consensus that was to be brought back tonight. That is not what's being brought back tonight, because on the documents has 81 million, correct?
Okay, as a financial officer, I have to repeat this. Your guys are bogging down on the process. The process will get you the 71 million.
I guess, let me rephrase this. I would like our certificate of levy to reflect that we are levying $71 million, not 81.
These will be finalized in March and April, and you will see that 71 million.
That's not what I'm asking for tonight.
That's not a guarantee.
How is that not a guarantee?
Because we don't have to approve those abatements.
Right.
How are we not gonna approve those abatements if that's what we're agreeing to today? So that's what I'm asking. How is that not a guarantee?
If there's not a majority vote, they're not approved.
But if it comes back to us and we are all right here in consensus agreeing as a board, if we set a 5.5 and that is what we're gonna agree on, so I'm a little confused as to why is it that we wouldn't go back on why would we go back on the abatements?
We won't. We have done this many times in the many years.
I don't understand why
This
we're
is
not
the
moving forward with a
process.
vote on this right now, just to get moving with the meeting.
Does anybody else have any questions? Comments? Board members? No? Steve has a comment.
So it's been a while. Can you remind me, did you start this discussion with a motion or no?
No, we started as a conversation and I asked for clarifying questions.
Got it, okay, so Member Boya's motion is on the table.
Okay, so now we are gonna move to motions. I was just asking if they had any questions.
Okay.
To clarify, are we going to motion,
I am not motioning on what is in this document. I am motioning for the levy before abatements to be this number listed here.
okay.
So,
What is it?
our Mayor, can you please provide clarification? So are we able to provide, the certificate that states 72?
$71,232,424.
Are we able to provide that with clarification on the abatement portion of it?
Yes, and actually, it is also under your executive. We have
I
for
guess
demonstration.
for a
yeah.
clarifying question, we are out of the 2-year period for the property tax relief grants at this point, correct? So if we were to decide $71.2 million actually wasn't enough before abatements or whatever, we could just keep that funnel through money from the state and use it towards our general fund at this point.
No.
What is your, I'm sorry, what is the question? We are in the second round of last year's property tax grant. We are bound by the state's requirement to do the abatement. Currently, you just approved getting the FY23 property tax grant. The prescribed process from the state will have to abate those in January or February when I bring it.
Thank you.
So again, are we able to put it in a certificate that we are gonna start, that's gonna be with the abatements? That's at 72, 71.
Yes, I can show them for a demonstration. It's also in the executive part of the board documents.
Can you please provide us with that so that we can?
It's already provided.
Well, so his is the 81 million minus the 10 or whatever. I want our levy to reflect 71,232,424. Like, I don't want this to be an abatement after the fact situation. I want this to be this is what we as a board are towing the line on.
So then if we do that, would that put us in at 71 million after the abatements?
It will put us way lower than that. It will put us way lower than that.
61?
It will be at 5.1%, which was not the consensus, and it will be much lower.
So what you just asked to motion is to put the rate at a 5.1 instead of a 5.5?
I guess that is what I'm motioning for. And yet I have a vote on it, even though I don't even know.
That's true. Okay. So, is there a motion to do that?
There's a motion.
There was already a motion.
Second.
Steve seconded.
To move the motion from a 5.5 to a 5.1 rate.
Yep.
That's exactly what we're talking about. That's where I'm a little bit, what this is, I'm trying to provide clarification is that what we're being told right here is that this is gonna get us to the 5.5, which is what we consented to at the last agenda, at the last special board meeting. Right now, what you are asking is for us to motion it, for us to drop it to a 5.1. That is not what the consensus of the board was at the last board meeting. So right now, what you're asking for is for us to pull the motion for a 5.1 rate, ending at a 5.1 rate.
Motion.
And
So
seconded,
this-
correct, because we were given the 71 million and the 5.52 and said they were the same. That's what we were told at the last meeting. And now we're being told that they're not the same. That the 71 million is not 5.52. Because we didn't have anything about the abatements in the slides we were given last time.
One is a rate, one is an amount. It's the same thing, 5.52.
What we have here is a shit show.
Thank you.
There's no transparency. We gotta talk and figure this out.
Thank you.
We have a vote to take care of, so how do we normally, Steve, can you please provide us clarification on how do we move?
When does this need to be filed by, Amir? When do we have to have this finalized? Do we have time? It doesn't need to be in tomorrow. We still have next week, correct?
It's supposed to be the last Tuesday of the December. However, that falls on December 26th, which is right after Christmas. So I believe, I have to check. The county might be closed at that day, but I have to check. So I would say that next week is, would be, I would say December 21 would probably be the best time, the latest date.
So then.
So, go ahead,
Go
Stacey.
ahead, Amanda, go ahead.
I was gonna say either we remove it and we go back to the drawing board, or we vote on this tonight and move forward and see what the vote comes to. But I think we go back to the drawing board and remove it, and we still have another week.
I'm okay with doing that.
Sounds like that. 5.1 or the drawing.
Okay with that?
What was that?
I mean, unless we want to move forward with the 5.1, which I'm a third in agreement with that.
And it's an option.
No, I don't think that was the option. I think right now with the actual discussion is either 5.5 or the 5.1 that Chris tried to, was asking for a motion. So that's what we're gonna be going back to the drawing board to talk about the 5.5 versus the 5.1. Is that clear?
I will remove my motion in order for us to do a special meeting next week to finish
Discuss
the
the
discussion
5.5.
on this.
I think
Yes.
we need to have a lot more information about the finances though, because if we're just gonna get the same information we have now, or we're gonna get information 2 hours before the meeting, like the last special meeting, it's really hard for us to get it figured out.
Well, these are conversations that we have been having since October, so I do believe that if we have any specific questions, we can obviously generate the questions and send them directly. And then, is it feasible for us
questions
to
aren't
ask
always
for you all
answered,
to,
though,
to provide us with that information a lot sooner than the numbers have been provided to us?
Yes, yeah.
Thank you. All right, so then.
I just want to say, I'm comfortable voting tonight. I feel we have enough information and I trust the experts of the people in this room.
So, are we comfortable with moving, so where are we at? I should just go back. One of the things, we have two things on the table. Do we have consensus that right now to make a decision right now, or do we have consensus? I want us to take two votes. One, if we have the vote to actually move forward with an actual vote tonight, or if we want to bring it back to actually have another discussion. So the first one is, do we want to bring it back to another discussion? Can we please do a roll call for that?
Are you looking for official roll call, or are you just doing consensus roll call?
Do we need to do consensus or roll call, Jackie? Provide me with support here.
Either way is fine.
Either way is fine.
Consensus is.
Consensus? Okay, do we have consensus for that? Where is everybody at? Can we do individual consensus, please? On where everybody stands?
Which question are we on?
On the first one, which is whether or not we want to bring it back for discussion. So we basically have another meeting.
No.
To seek further clarification. So Jackie, can you please take consensus individually, one by one?
Sure. Ariel Owens,
No.
Christopher Boyes,
No.
Stacy Ramirez,
No.
Dante Bynum. No. Amanda Harness,
We're voting on whether we're gonna discuss it further or we're voting tonight.
Consensus.
We're getting consensus
Consensus?
on whether we feel we need to have a special board meeting to discuss this or do it tonight.
No.
Andre Powell,
No.
Steve Byers.
No,
Okay, so now we have to do a second motion then to see if we have the 5.1. No, what is it that we're motioning for now? The standard item? That will get us a certificate. I apologize.
So member Boyd's already put a motion,
His motion that he doesn't
but
want.
then he withdrew it.
But there's a second.
But there's a second.
But he withdrew it, but, right.
All right, so then what we're actually voting on right now then is to, whether or not we approve the tax certificate that will get us to the 5.5, which is what we consented to at the last board meeting.
So we're motioning on the tax levy as it exists.
As it exists, yes.
And the
Okay.
rationale is that that abatement of $12 million, where is it? Is absolutely mandatory, already put in place.
Yes.
So there's no way that that's not gonna happen, but then we still have next year, which is the big concern that I also share with Chris.
And we bring these back every year, right? We have to bring them back every year.
It's part of the.
So we're going through this process again next year. Welcome to the board.
Yay.
All right, so we have the action item again to do it as presented, which is what we requested as of last week with the 5.5 rate. This is an action item. It is recommended that the Board of Education adopt the 2023 tax levy as presented on the certificate of the tax levy. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second, somebody second.
Second.
Who's second?
I
One of you
didn't remove
second.
your second.
I already moved, Fante seconded.
You don't remove none that I got to say, cause I don't like none that you say, Chris.
So, motion and a second. Okay, roll call, Jackie, please.
Christopher Boys,
No.
Stacy Ramirez.
Yes.
Vante Bynum,
Yes.
Amanda Harness,
No.
Andre Powell,
No.
Steve Byers,
No.
Ariel Owens.
So then that leads us to a special board meeting either way, because we have to come to a. Okay. All right, moving on to the next item, which is item C. Item C is an action item. Okay, it is recommended that the Board of Education approve the out-of-state Cleveland, Ohio for Kelly Serby to attend and present at the SHAPE National Convention and Expo, March 16.
You might just wanna wait, Stacy.
All right. We ask that everybody please leave quietly. Thank you.
I'm assuming you've got a long drive home, Steve, so you don't have to stay if you don't want to.
All right. So again, this is for item C. This is an action item. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the out-of-state.
But you think that everybody
Can we
care about
please,
this? They care so much about that part, they should care about what the rest of the school has to do.
Jackie, can we please close the room? Thank you. All right. Okay, now moving on. Item C, which is Society of Health and Physical Educators National Convention. This is an action item. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the out-of-state travel for Cleveland, Ohio for Kelly Zerby to attend and present at the SHAPE National Convention and Expo, March 12th through the 16th. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. Roll call?
Stacy Ramirez,
Yes.
Vante Bynum, Amanda Harness,
Yes.
Andre Powell,
Yes.
Steve Byers,
Yes.
Ariel Owens.
Yes.
Christopher Boys.
Yes.
All right. Now, item D, which is FTE request 1.0, Office Professional FDO, I apologize, Student Services. This is an action item. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the increase of a 1.0 Office Professional Level 3 FTE to support the legal requirements of the McKinney-Vento Act and Youth in Care. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is this related to the business office restructure, or this is separate?
Yes.
Separate. Oh, wait.
It is?
Yes.
Is this one of the ones in the business office restructure? Or, no?
No, those was presented to us by Kyle.
It's separate from the next.
They're separate, but they're kind of related.
Okay, that's where I'm like, it looks like it's part.
And I'm sorry, can you repeat your question? I couldn't hear it.
Yeah, I just was asking if this was part of the next agenda item, E, the business office restructure, where we talked about that.
Yes, yes. The hope is to take, the current FDAS position into a business office that, supports transportation, and that it will be removed from the union, but, to add the new FDAS position to replace that, so there's no harm to the FDAS union.
Gotcha. Thank you.
We do have, further information about the funding of that Sarah's gonna share.
Yes, we just received additional Title I funds. The federal and state government provided additional allocations that we normally don't have. We have a very quick time to spend these funds. So I met with the cabinet and come up with an idea to use some of these funds that we only have for the remainder of this grant period to fund the allocations for the OP3 to support the McKinney-Vento Act and Youth in Care, and then the district technology hourly IT support specialist. So we can use these funds temporarily, since we received these additional funds that we normally don't, to help offset those costs, and then next year we would pay for it as originally proposed at the November board meeting out of our local funds.
So this year, we wouldn't be coming out of budget, and it will be coming out of a grant.
It would be coming out of Title I, correct, for a total of $54,132 to $59,321, depending on what the benefits package is that was selected.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, and
All right.
sorry about the last minute notice, we just got the funds.
Which is great,
exciting.
right? Thank you. It's always great. Thank you. Okay, so again, this is an action item. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the increase of 1.0 office professional level 3 FTE to support the legal requirements of the McKinney-Vento Act and the Youth in Care. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Roll call?
Dante Bynum,
Yes.
Amanda Harness,
Yes.
Andre Poe,
Yes.
Steve Byers,
Yes.
Ariel Owens,
Yes.
Christopher Boyes,
Yes.
Stacy Ramirez.
Yes. All right, item E, which is business office restructure. This is also an action item. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the business office restructure as presented. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Amanda Harness,
Yes.
Andre Poe,
Yes.
Steve Byers,
Yes.
Ariel Owens,
Yes.
Christopher Boyes,
Yes.
Stacy Ramirez,
Yes.
Dante Bynum.
Yes.
All right, the next item is item F, the CABI conference. This is also an action item. It is recommended that the Board of Education, that the DeKalb Board of Education approve this out-of-state request for the Director of the Secondary Programs, Multilingual Programs Coordinator, CRSM, Principal, and HMS Principal to attend the CABI conference in Anaheim, California, February 21st through the 24th, 2024. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Andre Poe,
Yes.
Steve Byers,
Yes.
Ariel Owens,
Yes.
Christopher Boyes,
Yes.
Stacy Ramirez,
Yes.
Dante Bynum,
Yes.
Amanda Harness.
Yes.
All right, item G, DHS Student Council overnight field trip request. This is an action item. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the overnight out-of-state request so that the DHS Student Council may travel to Baraboo, Wisconsin to stay at Great Wolf Lodge to participate in the NCD overnight extravaganza on March 1st and March 2nd, 2024. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Who second?
Amanda.
Amanda.
Steve Byers,
Yes.
Ariel Owens,
Yes.
Christopher Boyes,
Yes.
Stacy Ramirez,
Yes.
Dante Bynum,
Yes.
Amanda Harness,
Yes.
Andre Poe.
Yes.
All right, item H, which is the ISB Illinois Needs Assessment Air Contract. This is an action item. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the ILNA air contracted service required by ISB to support Huntley Middle School improvement plan and designation. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Ariel Owens,
Yes.
Christopher Boyes,
Yes.
Stacy Ramirez,
Yes.
Dante Bynum,
Yes.
Amanda Harness,
Yes.
Andre Poe,
Yes.
Steve Byers.
Yes.
All right, item I, FTE request, DHS students. This is an action item. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the FTE request for an additional high school dean of students. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Christopher Boyes,
Yes.
Stacy Ramirez,
Yes.
Dante Bynum,
Yes.
Amanda Harness,
Yes.
Andre Poe,
Yes.
Steve Byers,
Yes.
Ariel Owens.
Yes.
All right, item J, FTE request and update, Technology Department hourly IT support specialist proposal. This is also an action item. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the Technology Department's hourly IT support specialist proposal. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Amanda Harness,
Yes.
Andre Poe,
Yes.
Steve Byers,
Yes.
Ariel Owens,
Yes.
Christopher Boyes,
Yes.
Daisy Ramirez,
Yes.
Dante Bynum.
Yes.
All right, item K, differential committee meeting minutes. This is a information action item. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the request and minutes from the differential committee meetings held on November 2nd, 2023. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Andre Powell,
Yes.
Steve Byers,
Yes.
Ariel Owens,
Yes.
Christopher Boyes,
Yes.
Daisy Ramirez,
Yes.
Dante Bynum,
Yes.
Amanda Harness.
Yes.
All right, item L, FTE request, additional 1.0 FTE unaffiliated registered nurse. This is an action item. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the addition of a 1.0 FTE unaffiliated registered nurse position for the remainder of the 2023-2024 school year. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Steve Byers,
Yes.
Ariel Owens,
Yes.
Christopher Boyes,
Yes.
Daisy Ramirez,
Yes.
Dante Bynum,
Yes.
Amanda Harness,
Yes.
Andre Powell.
Yes.
All right, item M, this is an action item. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the 2024 calendar as presented. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Ariel Owens,
Yes.
Christopher Boyes,
Yes.
Daisy Ramirez,
Yes.
Dante Bynum,
Yes.
Amanda Harness,
Yes.
Andre Powell,
Yes.
Steve Byers.
Yes.
All right, item N, ISB Press Plus Issue Release 113. It is recommended that the board, it is an action, oh no, this is an information item, I apologize.
I'm sorry, it's action.
It's an action, okay.
Because you guys had it the last one.
Thank you. All right, it is recommended that the Board of Education approve the IASB Press Plus Issue Release 113 Board Policies. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Christopher Boyes,
Yes.
Daisy Ramirez,
Yes.
Dante Bynum,
Yes.
Amanda Harness,
Yes.
Andre Powell,
Yes.
Steve Byers,
Yes.
Ariel Owens.
Yes.
Thank you. Future elementary school business. As of today, we do not have any updates. So then we move on to new item, new business, I apologize. Item A, which is Project Lead Away by Launch Conference, presented to, or brought to us as an information and action item. It works. And it is being presented by Bailey Warburg.
Sarah Schaefer.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So I have our trooper here, Sarah Schaefer. She's our elementary STEAM manager, so it's nice for all of you to put a name with the face. But she's gonna talk a little bit about our journey to Project Lead the Way. I talked about it already before a little bit, but she's gonna give us a little bit more of a information. I don't wanna turn it on.
Tiffany.
So as Ben's bringing that up, just to give you an overview, Project Lead, what we're asking for from the school board, and I'm gonna let Sarah talk a little bit more about Project Lead the Way, but to be able to attend a conference that is gonna have our two administrators where Project Lead the Way is gonna be, and also classroom teacher leaders that are gonna be able to pass that knowledge on to the rest of the building within our district.
Yeah. So, I'll just wing it without that. So, Project Lead the Way is referred to as PLTW. It is going to start out actually next fall at Lincoln and at Brooks. And it is going to start at the grade levels 3, 4, and 5. And I'm gonna tell you a little bit about Project Lead the Way. You can see surrounding you, this is a 5th grade template. And what it consists of is a collaborative way to learn science. It's a STEM curriculum. It has scientific inquiry and engineering embedded throughout each of the modules. How it starts is that students will participate in 3 activities each time. Each activity is going to build that background knowledge. It is very rigorous. and it doesn't stray from what that structure is. As they move toward doing a project, it's in a collaborative form, and it allows students then to have a little bit more flexibility on how they used inquiry-based to arrive at a solution. And from there, they get to do a problem. A problem is engineering-based, and again, even more flexibility given so that there is a way for students to demonstrate different pathways to the outcome. So it's a really cool way to have students tap into their curiosity, which little ones are full of curiosity. It allows each of them to explore a different way to have an outcome, and it removes all barriers. It is great for all of our students, not just a particular type of student. You find with PLTW, actually, students that have a lot of grit and are really great problem solvers will exceed with us. So I'm really excited that our 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders are gonna get that opportunity at Lincoln and Brooks. What this conference is going to do is take the administrators from that school and 4 of the teachers from both of those schools and allow them to attend the conference, submerge themselves in the modules, go to sessions, and really get to dive in deeply with this before it rolls out to their schools. That way the administrators especially will have the opportunity to become instructional leaders in PLTW to be able to support their staff that are taking this on. So it's January 29th through the 31st in St. Louis, Missouri.
And
Yes.
you can see on the agenda, it's being paid with ESSER monies and with
Title II.
Title II.
Yeah. Any questions about PLTW? So, yes.
Are the staff members excited about it?
The staff members are excited about it. Here's what's great about PLTW. So I come from a high school science teaching background. I have a science degree. A lot of our elementary teachers don't have a standalone science degree. So science, I have found, a lot of teachers are standoffish or intimidated by the content because they don't have that deep content knowledge. With PLTW, each teacher is going to receive 16 hours of PLTW training and become certified in it. So we're going to have teachers that now become very, very skilled in the depth of knowledge on how to teach the science curriculum. I'll be one of the people doing the trainings for our district. Amy Broadcore, who is our secondary STEAM manager, will be doing the training with me. So we'll be training staff.
I just want to point out that one of our board members is very interested in the fact that we're getting into science at the earlier ages.
Yes.
So it's appreciated.
I do love science.
I find it really, really important. I'll just talk real quick. I find it really, really important to capture kids' interests, especially females, in science and in engineering at a very young age, because statistically, as you go through, you see less and less of it. So having a curriculum like this available to all of our students, I think is going to make a really big difference for the future of our students as well.
I think it definitely could. It'd be nice to see like an impact a year from now, what we think, you know, what thoughts are on it.
Yes.
Just get some feedback later too.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, and again, this is an action, I apologize. Again, this is an information and action item. I'm assuming that I had to run out really quick, but I'm assuming that it was due to time sensitivity. Billy? Right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, thank you. I just said, due to time sensitivity is why it's an action,
Yes,
information
yes.
action item. Okay, awesome.
And we want to make sure we get the discounted rates.
Of course, thank you. All right, it is recommended that the Board of Education approve the out-of-state to St. Louis, Missouri, for 4 educators and 5 administrators to attend the PLTW Launch Conference, January 29th through the 31st, 2020, I think they meant 2024. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Roll call?
Daisy Ramirez,
Yes.
Dante Bynum,
Yes.
Amanda Harness,
Yes.
Andre Powell,
Yes.
Steve Byers,
Yes.
Ariel Owens,
Yes.
Christopher Boyce.
Yes.
All right, and then this is item, under new business, item B, out-of-state travel request, student trip to Midwest, Regional American Choral Directors Association Conference. This is also an information and action item being brought forth by Dr. Donna Larson.
Good evening, I'll be short and sweet. We were invited for this opportunity. It is time sensitive, just because we're just finding out about it, so, yeah. Any questions?
Any questions? No?
Sounds
No.
All right, it is recommended that the Board of Education approve the attendance of the 28 music students from Clinton Rosette Middle School and the DeKalb High School to participate in the Midwest American Choral Directors Association Regional Conference in Omaha, Nebraska, February 7th through the 10th, 2024. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Dante Bynum,
Yes.
Amanda Harness,
Yes.
Andre Powell,
Yes.
Steve Byers,
Yes.
Ariel Owens,
Yes.
Christopher Boyce,
Yes.
Stacy Ramirez.
Yes. All right, next item. Thank you. Larson.
I think I'm the next one.
Oh, you're doing the next one too.
I think so.
Yeah, it's the music.
Item C, which is the overnight trip request for students. This is an information item being brought forth to us by Dr. Donna Larson.
Okay, good evening again. So this one is a trip to Chicago overnight for students for orchestra. So another really good opportunity for students there. Any questions?
No questions.
All right.
For me.
Any other questions from any other board members? No?
Thank you.
Thank you. Consensus
No.
to bring this back? Oh, can we see Amanda? I just wanna not forget that she's there. Oh, okay. And she said no. Okay, thank you. No questions from you, Amanda. We can see you again. We were able to see the presentation. Sorry about that. So no questions from Amanda. A consensus to bring this back?
Yes.
Yes, yes. Okay, thank you. All right, item D, which is the request to purchase Chromebooks for one-on-one teaching and learning, technology and integration.
We're in our 11th year of doing our one-to-one implementation with the DeKalb School District. We are still a Google reference district as well, so we've been able to maintain our reference level. So yes, we are looking to purchase our devices for next year. We typically bring this around in November, but there was a lot of negotiations in order to get our pricing to where it is currently. And even at that point, it has gone up 5% or just under actually, comparatively to last year for the same devices and same services and licensing. So we are seeing increases across the board. We are fortunate that we only saw hikes that looked at those percentages comparatively to other area school districts that saw upwards of 10+%. But there was a lot of negotiation. We've also maintained long-term commitments with our partners and value-added resellers, which allowed us to negotiate better than others. So I'm bringing it to you now, and then we'll look for action in January so we can still make a July deadline to actually receive the devices and roll them out.
All right, consensus to bring this back? Or first, any questions? No questions? Consensus to bring this back?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, item E, multi-tip extension. This is a information discussion item.
The village of Malta reached out to us regarding a extension of their TIF zone. It's been about 20 years that we've had this TIF zone. Now, to explain the TIF, basically, we are not collecting taxes, particularly for that area, and it is used to be reinvested for that zone. And in this case, they're asking to do some water infrastructure. So they're asking for an extension of 12 years. And this is information item, and we'll bring it to a vote in January.
Any questions about this? I apologize. Any questions about this?
Lots of questions, but none at the moment.
Okay, so you said it's coming for a vote for our next meeting, so, okay. Any questions, please make sure that we send them to them so that they could provide us with clarification either prior to the next vote or, so that we can be ready to vote for our next, when it's brought to us at the next board meeting. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, consensus to bring this back?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, item F, which is extension of impact fees waiver, IAGA, with the city of DeKalb.
The city of DeKalb came to us asking for a IGA that is currently in place but expires December 30, 2023. And they asked for an additional year of extension. This is to stimulate residential growth. Basically, we will waive impact fee, which is a charge for per bedroom for any new housing development.
Any questions about that? Any questions? Again, if we have any questions prior to it coming back for a vote at our next meeting, please make sure that we send them so that we can have the appropriate information prior to that. Okay? All right, consensus to bring this back?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, item G, out-of-state travel request, National IA Deeper Learning Summit, February 29 through March 2nd, 2024. And this is a information action item.
Good evening, and thank you for listening to this for information and action. It's also due to timeliness. We need to make sure that we get our registration and our flights and all of that. We are taking a team of administrators and teachers from the elementary and secondary level to go to this really excellent AI conference. It's a ways away. It's in California, so please send good thoughts that it doesn't snow and we can actually go. But it's a really neat opportunity because there are not many really deep level AI conferences, and this has some phenomenal speakers and breakout sessions that will really allow our teachers and administrators to entrench themselves in the topic and see how we can bring that back to make meaningful instruction using AI.
And the funding source for this is Title I.
It's going to be Title I.
Okay. Any questions?
Is this like so we can replace teachers with AI later?
No, definitely not.
Okay.
Not yet.
Not ever.
Not ever. No, you can't ever replace that. All right. Okay. So it is recommended that the Board of Education approve the out-of-state request in Anaheim, California. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Sorry, we're.
We're having some technical difficulties. Okay.
Can you hear us yet?
Can you hear us, Amanda?
Andre Paul,
Yes.
Steve Byers,
Yes.
Ariel Owens,
Yes.
Christopher Boyes,
Yes.
Daisy Ramirez,
Yes.
Dante Bynum.
Yes.
They should have anticipated that.
It's like right when we were talking about that, right? The irony.
Does she not hear us?
Does she not hear us? I can hear you guys
Okay.
now.
Hey, okay, so Amanda, just so you know, we just voted on item G, which is.
That's
I
fine.
apologize.
That's
Item-
fine.
Yeah, item G, out-of-state travel request for the National AI Deeper Learning Summit. So we were just waiting on your vote.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, item H, which is grounds building insurance claim update and bid results. And this is a information discussion and action item.
Thank you. So this has been a long time coming. My last update to all of you was we were waiting for the third structural engineer report, which we just received on Friday. And we were then waiting for the insurance company to come back to us with their review of it. As of this morning, we had a meeting with them and they have still not fully reviewed it to give us a final final information. There's also an concern though, and the amount of coverage. They are We are at a point though, we have a report from our fire marshal that has been submitted, our state fire marshal, that has stated that the building is unsafe to occupy. We have also a report from our first structural engineer that states the same thing. The report that I did receive on Friday morning that I reviewed, and again, I'm no structural engineer, and some of the language is something that I have to have the conversation with to make sure I fully understand. But there are statements in there to the effect that the structure is not sound and would require significant changes to the structure should we just repair it. Based on that information, as what I put into this report, what I'm coming forward to the board tonight with is a request to approve the bid results that were received several months ago, and we've been just tabling, waiting for information and more reports in regards to safety and the structural engineer reports and the insurance reports, requesting that we do approve the bid to move forward with replacing the building under the premise that it is not safe for occupancy regardless of the insurance coverage that is received from the insurance company. I did submit a revision to the board doc that was sent out Friday based on information that was received this morning. Because of that conversation and the timeline we're looking at right now, I should also state we're currently 4 months behind from the original project plans based on the insurance delay. That is costing us approximately $10,000 in rent every month. So that I will be arguing with our insurance, discussing with our insurance company the cost of the delays and what burden should be on them of those delays. But every month we delay, it's $10,000 more potentially onto this project of cost. So that is why I'm bringing this forward today. The revision I submitted is because I am not comfortable with the original minimum insurance amount that I put into the board packet Friday after today's discussion with the insurance company. My original minimum insurance amount was $502,000, $502,236. That was based on repair estimates that we received from the structural engineers, their hired structural engineers, engineer number 2, and all the other costs that are outlined above in regards to shoring expense, leasing expense, structural engineers, and temporary repairs that have been approved through emails by the insurance company. So, but after today, I'm concerned that our limits will not even cover that 502, and we may be in for some more disputes with the insurance company. So I didn't feel I was comfortable coming in and saying, the minimum we're gonna get is 502. I'm not comfortable saying that, and I'm at a point now where I'm just coming and asking for approval to approve this bid, knowing that we do need to replace this building, so we are not gonna be risking putting staff and anyone else into an unsafe structure by just repairing it. And acknowledging that potentially the max burden, if the insurance company paid 0, which is also unrealistic, but I just don't feel comfortable guessing. If they paid 0, it will cost up to $1.5 million more than we anticipated back when we started this. Now, where is that 1.5 coming from? From my original document that was sent, the changes that I've added into today was not the changes, but the original one from Friday, was that since we are not moving forward with the Ed Center project parking lot to go to bid or to do that project, that was budgeted originally for $637,000. The Brooks build-out was originally operations and maintenance budget. We were able to qualify that for ESSER funds, which were available. That was $88,500. And the domestic water heater replacement projects that were originally in the O&M budget have also been approved in ESSER, are $542,800. So those were all O&M budgeted projects that will not need to come out of O&M. So that total originally came to the 1.2685 of the 1.5 million. So that leaves, if they pay nothing, which again I think is also unrealistic, that leaves $231,500 difference between 1.5 and the 1.268. So that 231, because we will be overlapping into the next fiscal year, this project will not be done for probably at least a year from now if approved now. We will be into the next fiscal year, so then that 231, if we receive $0, would go against any potential projects we would consider for summer of '25. So my hope would be we don't have to go after, use the monies that we could have put forward to summer '25 projects, but I have to be realistic coming to you. And I had to be forthcoming in that I'm not comfortable with the insurance company at this point. We're in some significant discussions with them, and I don't even have anything on paper to come to you and say this is what they've said. So until I have that, and with our mayor's help, because he's been side by side with me on this as it has become tumultuous, is that we will continue to pursue it to get every dollar we can from the insurance company. I just can't come forth and say exactly what that'll be. So I'm coming forth today saying we may have to cover up to the 1.5 to be able to finalize this project. I'm asking for approval to bid this project out. I still cannot start the project because I cannot tear down the grounds building until we get every single thing finalized with the insurance. But with this approval, what it would give us is the opportunity to start ordering our products, ordering our equipment, ordering all the supplies, so that once we get that approval, that demo can happen and we can hit the ground running and not be further months behind than we already are.
I have a quick question. Not so much, and I understand the importance of this. I guess just for me, my question is, my concern are they insuring any of our other properties? Like, and if they are, is there a possibility for us to go out to bid for another or I don't know what the process is, if it's a bid as well, to look at other vendors or other insurance companies? Because to me, it's outrageous that they've been stringing you along for months. I mean, this happened,
March 31st.
Yes, like this situation happened, you know, I mean, again, it was obviously due to weather, but the fact that it's been happening and it's taken this long for us to get them to fix our property, I think it's ridiculous. I could only imagine if this was to happen to one of our buildings, what that would actually mean.
Correct.
You know, where we're actually housing students, you know, not housing, but we are educating students. I just.
All valid concerns that we are, and I say our mayor and I have been talking to the insurance company about, talking about our values on our buildings, because that's one of the questions that has come up. Getting is it appraisals on those properties that we need to be doing and what their guidance is on it? But then also, are there other options for insurance that we can be looking at? And that's obviously something that is on our agenda as we're moving forward through the business office.
Yeah, I think it would be important for us to address it, you know, as we move forward, just because, again, God forbid, if this was to happen to any of our other buildings, we don't want that, right? Especially if it's a building that require us to use it every day. I mean, this is obviously still storing our equipment that is expensive and that we need to protect, and people are coming in and out, and we don't wanna put anybody in harm's way, but, you know, I could only imagine if it was one of our schools, that they are actually insuring our buildings, like what that actually means for long-term, you know, liability. So just thinking about
100% agree
that.
with you.
Thank you.
We're trying to get some closure on this
Yes.
and we already are looking at what we can do to improve on this moving forward.
Yeah, and I look forward to hopefully receiving that information. So, and again, I know that it's been a lot of back and forth, so, but I've been thinking about it as we have been navigating some of these conversations. And I'm like, this is a little ridiculous, 6 months in and we still haven't received something. It's not okay.
Yeah, agreed.
So thank you.
Agreed.
All right, and then you said that this is information, an action item obviously to allow you to go out and bid. Any questions about this, I should say, before anything?
Clarifying, it's actually approval of the bid.
Of the
We've already
bid.
gone out
Of
to
the bid.
bid.
I apologize.
We've been sitting on the bid results since, I believe, September, because we were hoping to really get some final information and based on the reports of how unsafe it is, no matter what, we have to replace this building, in my opinion. And so we're looking to move forward with it.
Okay. Any questions, comments, concerns?
I'm glad that this money is staying in DeKalb, Illinois. That's
Yes.
always good.
Amanda, any questions? I don't know if you can hear us. No? Okay. Sorry, so again, this is an information action item. That it is, okay, administration, okay. This is a little bit worded a little bit different for me. Okay, administration is recommending the approval of base bid for the district grounds building in the amount of $1,273,400 to Gerke Construction of DeKalb, Illinois. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Andre Powell,
Yes.
Steve Byers,
Yes.
Ariel Owens,
Yes.
Christopher Boyce,
Yes.
Stacy Ramirez,
Yes.
Dante Bynum,
Yes.
Amanda Harness.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, next item is item I, Special Education Program Evaluation. This is an information item brought to us by Kyle Grace.
All right, good evening. It has been a strategic priority of the Student Services Department for several years, since I started as a director, to really dive into our services and programs that we offer in regards to special education, and do kind of an evaluation. What are our strengths? What are our gaps? And then what is our action plan to address any of the gaps we have and highlight some of the strengths and build upon those. To be quite frank with you, the undertaking of doing a full, thorough, in-depth program evaluation, when I first started this job, I thought, oh yeah, we'll be able to do that. And then the job started, and the day-to-day, and then different things, and it quickly became pretty apparent that we didn't really have the capacity to do a really good job with this. In addition, we thought that bringing in some external eyes would also be a benefit to us, as we've been immersed in this work now, some of us for a long time, and an extra outside set of eyes would be good. So we started a process to really look at the different groups that are out there that could help us with this work. One being the Illinois Multi-Tiered System of Support, or MTSS network. We received a proposal and have had multiple conversations with them about what a program evaluation would look like. And what they brought forth was an evaluation that would consist of a very in-depth review of data, historical and current. They'll look at our overall student outcomes, where they're being successful and where they're maybe not. In-depth conversation, focus groups, and interviews with staff members, with students, and parents of students with disabilities. And then also sitting down and working with our team and working on what our priorities are, what are the questions we need asked, and then the outcome of this would be a very detailed timeline and action plan that's really going to guide the work of the department moving forward. Ultimate goal is to improve and have as many positive student outcomes, whether it be academically, social, emotionally, or behaviorally, as we can for our students. The kind of timeline for this process, we estimate, would be about a 3-month process. So this is information tonight. We would come back and ask the board to vote in January, which would kind of give us the rest of the semester, the rest of the school year to really do the work. Early summer, be able to sit down, review the plans, have conversations with our consultants, and start getting ready for what things might look like in August. In total, the estimated cost for this would be $46,230. And this would be paid for out of our Individuals with Disabilities in Education Act, or IDEA grant, which we receive funding to invest in special education. So I'm looking at this as we're taking the federal funds we have, we're investing it to kind of pay it forward to guide our work for hopefully next 4 or 5 years. From what I can tell, the department did a very similar process about 2015, 2016, and that kind of blueprint, I guess, guided the work up until I would say 2020, when the pandemic happened and I stepped into this role. Any questions?
Sounds like an awesome opportunity. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Any questions? No? Consensus to bring this back?
Good idea to me.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yes.
Consensus to bring this back? Yes? Thank you, Kai.
Thanks.
All right, item J. It is.
You.
J, right?
Yep.
Okay, item J. Okay, it is recommended that the Board of Education approve the settlement agreement to resolve case number 2022 LA 00059 in the Circuit Court of the DeKalb County and pending ISB complaint. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Steve Byers,
Yes.
Ariel Owens,
Yes.
Christopher Boyce,
Yes.
Stacy Ramirez,
Yes.
Dante Bynum,
Yes.
Amanda Harness,
Yes.
Andre Powell.
Yes.
All right, and then the last, yes.
So you guys voted on something that was an action item, so we have to go back. Someone needs to make a motion to move it to action,
And then on, G, no, new business C, it was the orchestra. The overnight time request for student was only, that's a new one, so that only is coming for info because they have time unless someone moves it to an action.
Okay, so then should we do either consensus to bring this back, or I apologize, I
You guys
thought it
want to
was
do either consensus to bring it back,
Are we
or somebody
okay?
to make a motion to vote it, to make it to an action item?
You voted on the choir one, but not the orchestra one.
There's two, the overnight trip for students,
Right.
Yeah, we didn't vote on that. We got a consensus to bring it back.
okay, alright, okay, I could be wrong.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I mean,
Did we? I don't think we did.
That's
It
fine,
was an
that's
information
fine,
item.
if not, we'll
Okay.
clear it up the next one.
Either way, we have consensus to bring this back, right? Yes, okay. Thank you. It's been a lot of items, so thank you. Okay. All right, so the last thing is the superintendent update, and then we should be.
You know what that means, right? We're at the end. I have some great things that we were able to do. Right before Thanksgiving break, I was able to meet with Kathy Russell, the Chief Executive Officer of the Boys and Girls Club. Along with me, I believe Billy, Sarah, and Kyle met with us in conjunction of how we could bring the Boys and Girls Club to the city of DeKalb. Paige Charhut had actually met with them previously last year and was one of the ones that actually spearheaded, so I'm going to give her credit where credit is due. However, in order for us to be considered, we need to meet with business, city, and organization leaders to gauge interest. They want to make sure that the town is all in if we're going to be considering bringing the Boys and Girls Club to DeKalb. I think that this is a great opportunity for our youngsters up through our high school students and even for our adults, making sure that we have activities and academics and supports to be able to help. Boys and Girls Club has a complete wraparound opportunity for the district, from being bus buddies to our preschool, pre-K students, to being tutoring agents and supports for our high school students and everywhere in between. However, nothing comes cheap, and it does have a price tag of $150,000. But we should be able to do some fundraising and hopefully gauge some things from Donors Choose, or even support from one of our Southside Enterprise sponsors to see if they would be interested in supporting this. I'd like us to take into consideration for summer programs to test the waters with the Boys and Girls program for summer schools, and they would be actually very willing to be good partners in doing that. We have not moved forward with any of this information. We're just gauging interest so far, but look forward to us having more conversations as we begin to determine whether or not we will be moving forward with the Boys and Girls Club. I will share more information with the board, either through the weekly update or scanning and updating information from the Boys and Girls Clubs, their actual PowerPoint presentation to share with you all. So other good news, well, I don't know if it's good news or not, but we piloted the vape detectors over at Huntley, and they're working. We talked to our security assistants who said that they're absolutely working and that we're able to gauge which bathrooms are being utilized for that purpose. And we are able to have connections for administration counseling with those students as we find them in the midst of vaping. So we collected data. In the first week, we had 42 alerts. So we were able to capture that immediately. The following week, which was last week, it actually rose 9%. So we had 12 more in the second week. As we spoke to our security assistants, they've also asked us to consider the other middle school as well as the high school in determining which bathrooms we would be able to install those at. I have asked Tammy and Ben to look into what the cost would be to be able to make those additions at those two locations, so we can continue to install them. I did get some additional insight. It makes me a little nervous because we're finding out that our students, our youngsters, it's middle school, are not just vaping in the bathrooms, but they're actually vaping in the classrooms. So, they're hiding them either within their hands or in their clothing and vaping. That's a concern for me. Should be a concern for all of us. So we're gonna have to try to mitigate more of that, talking to our instructors, our teachers, our administrators, to make sure we're checking in, with what's happening in the classroom. We're not gonna be putting vapes detectors all over, maybe we are, I don't know, but that's definitely a problem that we need to address in a different way. Obviously, our youngsters, our young adults don't realize how dangerous this is to them and their health. So we will definitely look into how to get the word out even more clearly that it's not acceptable and we want them to take care of themselves differently. So that's my public service announcement for the evening. Other than that, winter break is coming. We all need it. We need time to decompress, to be around others that love us, apart from your staff and your colleagues and your peers. But to take some time away and rest and relax and come back on January 8th, ready to rock the second semester and get it done right. So I wish everyone a happy holidays, safe, and don't overeat. But enjoy every minute. And that's it for me. Thank you.
All right, it is now 9:53, and with that, I would like to make a motion to adjourn, the meeting.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Amanda, for joining us today. Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Hey, what over there?